So we can deal with any of these sections at this point. Let's start with the header section, and specifically the Flappy app. So I will have to recreate right now the so as you can see here, the Flappy app logo has like this text, Flappy app, and in the middle there's an image. So I will try to recreate this logo by creating a text called Flappy, then an image in between, and then another text that will contain the text app. So I will start by trying to recreate this using this in this manner. So I will go in my header, and I will go inside my logo section, and I already have the Flappy app. I'm just going to replace the image placeholder that I placed here with something that is an image. So I'm going to go here, and in my images I have a logo PNG. So as you can see, this like loads this logo, and then I'm going to just add an alt tag, mandatory alt tag. Now, because this logo doesn't have any importance to people that are using a screen reader, I'm just going to have an empty alt tag. This means that the screen reader will disregard this image and will not read out something to the user because there's no kind of like value in saying logo or Flappy logo or whatever. So just an empty alt tag whenever you have some decorative element. Okay, I have this Flappy app. Let me style the text a little bit along with the image. So the first thing I want to do is to just make the image a little bit smaller. As we can see in the design, it's a little bit smaller, and the text is larger, of course. So let me bump up the size of the font and make the image a little bit smaller. So this text along with the image live within a section with the ID logo. So I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to say logo and set the font size to something like, I don't know, 2 REMs. Let me also just zoom out a little bit, so I'm around, like, I'll go to 100% for now, like the normal, let's say, zoom level in my browser. So I can see here Flappy Bird. Let me go to see the design. Let me also zoom out a little bit. I will make it a little bit bigger, so 2.5 or something like that. The next thing is I want to transform the text so that it becomes uppercase. So I'm not going to change the text here. I'm just going to use a CSS transform to transform the text styling into an uppercase, because that's what the design looks like. So I'm going to use the text transform, which allows me to set some values. One of them is uppercase, and this will like make the text in all uppercase, the text characters all uppercase. And also I believe that the logo has like a kind of like a more heavy, let's say, weight size or style. So I'm going to change the font weight just a bit. So I'm going to say font weight, and I'm going to use the numeric, the number value. So let's start with 700, and it's a little bit bolder. Let me go to 800. I believe somewhere 700 is what we need. So I will change the font weight to 700, so I get closer to what I see here. And now I need to align this image according to like the mockup. So as you can see here, the Flappy app is just kind of like it looks like it's the space between the words Flappy and app. So and it's also like centered like vertically in between, like at the same level with the words Flappy and app. So let's see how we can do this. So in order to do this and align and properly align the logo, I'm going to move the styling a little bit here, and I'm going to just target the logo. So I'm going to say inside the logo section, just capture the image. And in order for me to debug and actually position my element and see what's happening, I'm going to apply an outline around my logo. so I can see where my logo right now is placed. And I'm also going to create an outline on the logo section itself. So this helps me like see these boxes, where these boxes are placed, how they're placed, and how and whether I can like move them around. Now I can see we have like this orange box which has some space at the bottom and below the text, which is nice because the text is centered like vertically. But this box, this floppy up icon, should be placed somewhere like a little bit lower. Now also, to remove the space before and after the image, I'm going to get rid of the space right here. So before and after the image, I'm just going to remove the spaces so that it's a little bit closer to the Y and the A letter, because that's what I see here. And also I can see that it's a little bit also closer to the left to the Y, and it's kind of like sticking its nose inside the A. So on the right side, the logo is kind of like a little bit on top of the app, or it's a little bit to the right, so it's kind of like over composes, let's say, the app. So how can I do this? I can use several ways. One way that I can use is I can use the margin. So I can use the margin top, which by default is 0. Now, before going and actually working with my code in here, I'm just going to play around with the margin via the inspector. So I'm going to right click and select inspect, and I'm going to play around with the image directly through the inspector. It's a nice way to experiment with things through the inspector live and then go back and update your code. So I'm going to go to the computed. I can see that there are no margins here, so let me put some margin here. So let me put 10 pixel. So as you can see, when I move the margin of the image, I think I have selected the image to the margin, it moves from the top, but it also moves like the rest of the elements here. So what can I do here? Let me see. Let me give it a negative margin. So you can see, if I give it a negative margin, it will go a little bit to the top. So I will reset this and go here and say negative 10 pixel on the bottom. So as you can see, if I apply a negative margin at the bottom, it will just move the Flappy Bird to the top, or at least going a little bit closer to the middle of the to the center of the text. So I can go here, I can place 10, and I think if I can move around here. So I'm inside the let me see if I can use, okay, I was expecting for this to work, so I can put -10 pixel, and okay, and then I think I can play. I'm trying to, okay, I cannot do this like this. I thought I could play around with negative values, so I'm going to just go to the styles panel, select the image, and go here and play with this margin top right here. So margin top -10 pixel, margin bottom, and I can see that nothing is happening here. That's because there are some margin lefts from the dynamic playing that I was doing here. So I'm going to just disregard these changes that I made before, or I can just refresh to clear these things. So select the image once again, go right here, margin bottom, and then -10 pixel, and now I can play with my up and down arrows, and I can go to somewhere right there. So I can go here. I think the nose of the duck was a little bit close to the line of the middle line of the A letter, so I will stick with 20 pixels. and then I will remove the outline. So as you can see, it looks a little bit closer to the logo. But I also seem to be missing some space from the left side and from the right side. As you can see here in the logo, the duck's tail is close to the Y and its nose sticking out on top of the A. So I'm going to use the margin left along with the with a negative margin to move it to the left. So I'm going to go somewhere around 10, and then margin right once again with a negative margin so that it gets closer to the up. And now I can go somewhere around here. Okay, let's stay with 18 pixels. So now it looks like a little bit like the logo here. So as you can see, the only problem is that the duck looks like it's below the text. It's not above the text. In order to move this element on top of the text, I can use the position relative, or any position other than static, which is the default value. So if I use another position value apart from the position static, which is the default value for the position for the HTML elements, so if I use any other position like relative or absolute, I will make the element appear on top of the underlying text content here. So with position relative and with these margins, I have come to a point where it looks close to our floppy up here mockup. So I will grab all these settings, I will copy them, I will refresh. You will see I'm going to lose all these changes, and I'm going to move them and paste them right here. So now I have my floppy up. The only problem is right now the box here, the text is not centered appropriately. So let me go see and see what's happening here. So I have this section, I have this image, I have the text. I will also remove the nav here for now, and you will see that the logo looks okay-ish. You will see there is an extra space above, but it looks okay. It's the only thing is that the space that is added by the nav here is creating this space at the bottom. So I need to find a way to center this whole thing vertically at the center of this horizontal line. So let's see how we can do this. Let me inspect here, and I have this section with ID logo. So in order to center these elements vertically, I can still use the flexbox property. So if I set the display to flex for this one, and then I will set the flex direction to column. No, this will not work. Okay, the flex won't work because it's going to distort these inner elements. So I'll have to find a way to center this appropriately, to move this to the center. Let me play around with the line height. So let me go here and see whether I can play around with some line height. It doesn't move like this. Okay, so the line height moves the logo to the middle, but the thing is that I'm not sure about these units here that I'm using, because 100 pixels, why does 100 pixel work? Maybe if I zoom in, for example, that won't work. So I have to be absolutely sure why this 120 pixel line height work. So I will go here and I will see that the height of the box is 127 pixel, as you can see here. So if I apply a line height to exactly the height of this box, so So if I go here and I apply 127, then the line height becomes exactly like the height of the box. The line height is the text height along with a space below and above the text. So altogether the text and the space below and above make up the line height. So if I set the line height to be exactly the same as the box height, you can see that everything is centered appropriately. Now let me zoom in to see whether this works okay. And let me also delete the nav section to see whether that will retain the height. So I double check in all zoom levels. I double check when something is changing here. There was something that was giving up a certain height to this header, and I can now see that just by using the line height and setting this to exactly the height of the box, I can center these elements together. Okay, so line height did the trick. Let me go to the logo, place it here, and also let me just remove this styling. So let me refresh. Okay, let me go back to my Excalibur, and I can see that it looks very close to the mockup. Okay, perfect, or at least almost perfect.